Welcome, everyone, to Price Action Live here at Traders Post for August 6th, 2025. We're here trading live in front of you. Prop firms here for Mike, personal account here for Tom, and prop firms for Trevor as well. We're the dream team. It's Mike Richardson, CSO and co-founder of Traders Post, customer experience Trevor Lyman, and marketing manager here, Tom. And we are here to succeed or fail in front of you live. Actually, what we've been seeing is Mike making money day after day after day, which I guess should feel good, but just feels like I'm on the sidelines. So like, okay, fine. I can't wait for my account to be.
I think we figured out, Tom, that you enjoy watching me fail. It's your secret kick, right?
It's not that I want people to fail. I just want them to have interesting experiences.
Okay, interesting experiences. What a euphemistic way to say that.
So we're using Traders Post platform, the best advanced trade execution platform available. It allows you to do account scaling across different prop firms, allows you to set up strategies and subscriptions to different accounts, all kinds of interesting things. But here we're going to focus on the prop firm connection so that you can see how you can turn one successful trade into 20 amazing trades or 20 failures. That's just the way the markets are.
I told you.
So we've got a market open here at 9:30. Bell has rung. We're going to let the guys set up their positions, and then I'll ask them, like, what are you seeing for the day? But while they're doing that analysis, I'll tell you what I'm seeing for the day. And I know I got some grief, some chitting, some shots fired over my direction about the Dixie, the dollar, yesterday, and the correlation with the markets, because Mike would have made a lot more money in his prop firm accounts if I hadn't chimed in with my backseat driving about the dollar.
Well, to be fair, I was still the driver, so I really should have managed my own position and not listened to you guys. But twice, I unfortunately missed out on a couple of good trades yesterday, and that was ultimately my choice. I don't want to blame.
We do have the dollar headed down today, and I just want to clarify that when I take a look at the dollar move, I care about how it moved over the last 24 hours to set the trend for the day. That's generally what I'm speaking. If it's down for the dollar for the day, I say it's up for equities, and the opposite if it's up. And then what happens intraday and in the opening and all that, well, that's where I'm going to need Mike and Trevor for that.
I'm with you on that. VIX is also down slightly. That's usually a good sign that the options market doesn't see a huge move coming in today. I'm definitely seeing a bullish open here in the first few candles.
It's just like a giant cup and handle situation, maybe.
So we're up against the weekly VWAP as well, plus a couple of my anchored VWAPs, which I've been trying to pay attention to. So right out of the gate, I think we can now say that we've established support here off of the 23,100 zone. And I think if we break this structure here, we could see continued upside for the day, maybe looking to test the 23,350 level and sort of retrace against this range that we've now established. But that would be pretty bullish on the day.
I have 23,236 on the NASDAQ as a short term, the local high. And then after that, if it breaks, I would imagine 316. But we do have an unmitigated level here that's been there for a while since the 31st, which is at 23,550. So could be some upward movements, but we do have the lower end down here. I never know what to think here, Mike. When we had this drop down, and this level is technically unmitigated, this 22,772, but by like 2 ticks. So I never know if it actually counts as unmitigated or not.
I try to think in blurry terms because price never has to be exact when it comes to markets.
But sometimes I then see that the price retraces to go exactly back to that level, then clears it, and then
again. Yeah.
And I go, wow.
All right, so it looks like we bounced right off of that anchored VWAP as well as weekly VWAP. That's a potential rejection area. We're coming back to test the session VWAP this morning.
There's no news being released today, or no significant news that I've seen. I
Yeah, I
don't know
just
if
saw
there's
a
any.
couple earnings reports that were positive as well for Walmart, as well as, or excuse me, not Walmart, Walt Disney and McDonald's. Those are about the biggest. Shopify comes in later. We got Siemens and Uber as well. All right, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and draw out an opening range breakout here, which technically would be right about now.
Thank you, Adventure Trader, for being here. We always love seeing you. Hope we make your morning at work a little bit easier.
Tolerable.
We'll put a long on here. I'm going to see if this is going to be an opening range breakout. Where's my trade? Oh, interesting. Did we have our first failure today?
Mm-mm.
TradingView didn't fire the alert. Let's try it again. Okay, so I've had this happen once before where I go to activate the line and it just doesn't activate, or it doesn't fire. There it goes. It finally started to show signs of activating. I see it green now and I see it active on my chart. It didn't fire and price is already turning against me anyway. So how lucky is that?
It's destiny.
Might be better if we try to enter at VWAP. Let me see how we respond to the session VWAP, and I might add a position here after the close of this candle. So that now becomes our opening range.
Beautiful. Trevor, are you in any trades this month?
This month.
Well, I mean, I know you had to wait for your accounts to reset. I wasn't
sure. Top Step. I started a PA in Top Step. It's sort of like one of those a payout that'll erase a lot. I just have this bad habit of having bad months, spending $1,000 on fees, and then the next payout, when I finally figure my stuff out, will cover those fees. And then I'm like, okay, I'm back to neutral. Let's really like get my head on straight. And it's been interesting watching Mike trade, because you're so locked in, you're so dialed in, and you're not trading from your phone. And obviously you don't have little kids, so you don't have like, daddy, look over here. But like, I feel like the way that you trade is the way that I want to trade. So I've been really trying to like lock in more, because on a computer, I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty good trader, but on a computer, it's just so much easier to just boom, you do it. On a phone, it's impossible. So to answer your question, I have a PA that I started a couple of days ago that I'm hopeful we'll get a payout the next few days.
Are you guys seeing this on TradingView?
Yeah,
I'm having issues today. So I just tried to fire a short off of this line and I'm getting stopped calculation error. How is there a calculation error on a line?
I've never seen that before.
Well, that's starting to be slightly frustrating. Let me see if I need to delete this alert and then recreate it. It's funny. So twice now I've tried to enter a position and failed. It's almost like the market gods are like, you just don't want to be in this market right now. Trust us.
Are you trying to go long or short?
Well, I tried to switch bias there because we crossed below VWAP, but I couldn't even enter the position.
Both trades will end up being not good. Both are flipped. And you'll be like, oh man, thanks, TradingView.
So MNQ2. Gotta go grab my all accounts webhook URL. Okay, let's try this again. I like where it's at below VWAP here. We could close this very tiny gap from the open. It's a little choppy here though. I don't like how it's straddling across these lines.
Yeah, I hate when it does that. I never think.
Yeah, this could be a rough one, but let's put it on. Let's just see what happens here this morning. There we go. So now I'm worried that none of my other lines are actually going to work. I'm probably going to have to reset the alerts on those.
I'm gonna flip over to my my screen real quick.
So I'm gonna pull my exit up. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Did I have any slippage on that, Trevor?
Let's see. Dollar between 50 cents and $1.25, depending on the firm.
Okay. So a little bit of slippage on the entry takes out a few dollars of potential profit. So I just have to go a little bit farther to take a decent profit on this trade. But typically on my smaller contract sizes like this, I tend to let it run for a while. So I can more than beat the commission, the slippage, and any other market variance.
What is going on with the markets? Up, down, up, down.
It's an interesting open here. This one's a little weird. All right, let me delete.
Bitcoin flashed up, then flashed lower, now flashed up even higher than it was before.
Exit MNQ, good. Okay, so as a reminder for anybody watching here, we are on the NQ chart, but I trade MNQ from the NQ chart, and mainly because institutional flow and volume is a lot more consistent on NQ than it is on MNQ. You're trading basically the same asset, and there's not a huge price variance between the two instruments. Okay, so I got my exit line set now. If this is an orb breakout, then we're starting to push outside of our opening range now.
And you're
the other goal for the day, if you look at the top account that I have in our window here, I need to hit 106,000 on those Apex accounts. And if we have any luck today, it looks like I should be able to pass about 3 of them because I'm pretty close to goal on all 3 at the top.
I don't know if Bitcoin is any indication that we're going to get a reversal upwards on SPY and NASDAQ. Because why is it rising? Anyway, it's too choppy. I couldn't even trade last night Bitcoin. It was just sideways the whole way through.
Last night was like the 1 out of 10 nights of good movement for an overnight session. You're like, oh, I'm glad I can do overnights. Most of the time, it's just a mind fuck.
So I went ahead and added to this position here. That's a second leg. I still like the potential of a breakdown from here. On the higher 5-minute chart, I like where we're below my moving average, a couple of EMAs that I have on the chart here. I like that red candle from the open. I like where we might be on the resistance zone here on the 2-hour chart. Plus, we're already in what looks like a breakdown overall in price. We retraced and then pushed down really hard yesterday. Could be wrong. We're going to take a look at how it responds to session VWAP here. And I might add a third leg to this if we kind of touch off of the session VWAP and then turn around and close below it.
How many times will you add into a position?
Just the 3. I try not to go any farther than that. And I also try to keep the spacing a little wider as well. You know, price has a tendency of moving all over the place, and I try not to get in too early because then I miss out on this opportunity to average higher on my short so that my short position is a little bit better.
Well, I can't see any direction. Wow.
Yeah, it's looking like a little bit of an S-curve here from the open, but let's just see how it responds to VWAP here because we've had a complete close under VWAP. We're retesting it now. Here's the start of the new 1-minute bar.
If it's going to reverse, it's got to be from here.
Yep, it's got to close below VWAP here. So we're already risking a couple $100 on these accounts. We're going to keep it real tight, but I want to see this candle close first. I don't want to get out too early.
33 seconds till bar close. Oh,
ouch. Ouch. All right, let's give it the 22. I don't want to panic yet. Okay, so that would confirm this is a bit of a choppy open. We've called these out several times before. When price straddles across indicators like this, it's usually a sign of a choppy open. And sure enough, I'm going to have to take a loss on this trade. So let's exit out of here. It's a little, definitely more than I had hoped. Oh my goodness, come on. Jeez. So I'm taking a big haircut because of TradingView being lagged and delayed here. Trevor, I'm guessing that you probably have some slippage numbers you can show on that.
Yeah, let me check it out.
Let's take a look at that exit. I'm guessing that was pretty bad.
16? Impossible.
So it looks like by the time the signal actually fired, it doesn't show more slippage, but I was supposed to get out at 23,205. Where was my average fill on those?
Yeah, 23,221, 23,222.
Got it. Yeah, that's 15 points almost. So that's where that extra loss came from today. So now we got to dig out of a hole of roughly $700 on these accounts. Not a great start, admittedly. We can definitely identify that this is a choppy area. Should have avoided that trade for sure. It looked correct to the downside. We started to break out of the orb, but it turned right against me, and now we're reversing to retest this again. So I want to watch to see what happens here. Typically when I go through something like this and I've clearly taken a real bad trade for the morning, I just try to give it a little more time and watch the candles. I want to see a breakout of the revised orb now, which is now going to pull the low a little bit further down to account for the fact that this was definitely not the orb yet. If there is going to be an opening range breakout, we need to see a continuation of price. If it's going to dance around inside this range, then this is definitely not our trade.
So when people trade the orb, they adjust it. It doesn't set for like a specific time, start time, end time. They adjust it for the highs and lows.
Some people do. Some people say I won't trade the first 15 minutes of the open, so they would still be waiting at this point. Or they would have, waited until right about now, 3 candles ago. I sometimes go a little bit earlier because I've just seen price action move really fast, even in the first 3 minutes, and I can catch a lot more of the move if I just watch price action from the open. Things aren't necessarily time bound when it comes to the way price works. Okay, interesting. So buyer stepped back in and said, hey man, you're going the wrong way. We're up against the weekly VWAP and anchored VWAP again. That anchored VWAP that I have on the chart here is actually from our recent high. So it's a pretty critical anchored VWAP. This one should tell us the signal as to whether or not we're going to continue up from here and retest this retrace. And here we go again. Let's see if we can just switch our bias and try to head the other way.
I would be careful here. Well, I don't want to talk you out of a trade, but this is where I'd be like careful because we're right up to the daily, the VWAP close from yesterday's session for looking at extended hours. And it could break up through here.
It could.
But it could reverse. So, and it's like right up.
I totally agree with you. We're gonna give this a try. It's a long shot. It's a really strong uptrend. We've broken above the orb now. We're testing these, the weekly VWAP as well as an anchored VWAP, and we're closing above it now. So far so good on this trade. If we do retrace a little bit, I might wait for it to pull back just a bit, and then add to this position, and we'll see if we can keep going from here. But this candle has basically now started to push above my short-term moving averages on the 5-minute chart, and it's starting to show a lot more support on the 2-hour chart. That said, I could very well be wrong once again, and I'm going to have to take a big hit today. Man, that first trade really messed me up.
Sorry.
Oh, it happens. That's the game, right?
It's the game. I think it's
Which is
also one of those
trickery.
things where it's just that delay really ate into my or
Right.
added a whole lot of additional loss. So to fix that problem, there's still a couple other venues I want to explore for trading lines like this. I'm gonna get eaten up today, guys.
Yeah,
Maybe you have like a rule or something based on like if you can't enter because of some sort of technical difficulty, you just kind of like time out or something instead of chasing.
Well, I mean, now it's working a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's reset here. This is definitely where I would take a moment and go, what's going on? How is my trading is really falling apart here today? I think I'll give myself one more opportunity, but this is already well beyond where I would normally allow myself to lose. One option I have, of course, is to reduce size. So in my alerts, I can reset the size on these so that it trades a little bit smaller from here. And that allows me to continue to try to explore what opportunities might show up here, but not take as much risk.
Because that daily level has been mitigated at the top. This is where the pull towards the upside, I can't tell. Normally, if I were you, I would take more risk and hold the long position, expecting another bounce off these groupings of averages, and then expect a ride up. Because right now, it feels more like a upward bias, a long bias, than to turn short.
It does.
If you would try again, like if you would try to enter again, like.
But then look, it's just doing it again. This is definitely chop, and I can't make money in a chop area.
Right.
I think the one saving grace I might have here is trying to take a look at a scalp trade from here, and measuring whether I think 15 points is possible. Let me pull this alert off. I gotta reset it. These lines out of the way.
Yeah. This is just going to bounce off of VWAP all day, because you're looking at the.
And that's why I like to look for zones where I feel like it might break down a little bit further to test these ranges. This is where the scalp strategy really starts to shine, because if I can't expect a good continuation or trend for the day, what I can expect is for it to go back and revisit short-term ranges, right? Right. And I only need 15 points. So you can see here, if we were to do a buy-side scalp and we're aiming for 15 points, we're going to be there in no time between our entry here and where we retest these VWAP lines. So if we close above VWAP and it feels a little bullish, I might chase that move, but only try to pull just a little bit of profit off the table.
Got it. Just as far as where I'm concerned over here, like you do the session VWAP, but I start my VWAP from when the futures open, and that's where the price has been revisited again. And so that's where the chop is. So that's why for me, since we're still above that level, it's still bullish. And so I'd be buying pullbacks and looking for the bounce off of that VWAP level.
Sure, fair. Obviously, that wasn't a complete close below VWAP. So yeah, I'm definitely seeing more of a bullish bias here. I think we've already missed that scalping opportunity I was describing. So let me see if I can get focused here and dial in.
Okay.
Dial in.
Guys, this is what trading is all about, making decisions in the short term for long-term benefits. It's always interesting to have a group of people to do this with, because you can get all in your own head, but it's nice to be able to bounce ideas off of other people. Yeah, this to me is very bullish. Well, very bullish for an intraday.
It's looking bullish, but here again, it's rejected right off this range again.
Yeah, but it's a higher high.
Slightly, you're right. We can go ahead and revise the orb again.
There we go. Is that going to break? Are you in the long trade right now, or?
I'm not in any trade right now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm just waiting to see if we can get any kind of reversal or continuation, and I'll decide if I'm going to scalp one direction or the other. Basically, I'm looking for, look at that. I'm looking for an opportunity to just take 15 points off the table, and there's plenty of opportunity for that. However, typically when I do scalp trades, I try to avoid it in this zone right now. This is a really high ATR zone where I'm almost at 25. And obviously, if the size of ATR is greater than the number of points I'm trying to take off the table, it just means I could very easily get chopped out.
Right. Yeah.
So it'd be a pretty risky move. If I'm going to pull it off, I want to wait for the signal to be really clear. And this is just Chop City. Or Chop Suey, as my friend Tyler G says.
What are the sectors doing? We got a pretty all over the place equities map, so doesn't look like anything is like particularly moving.
Yeah, I think even on my VWAP to close strategy, we're above the long-term moving average, which is good. It's bullish, and we obviously tested that several times in yesterday's session. All good news. The previous session, it was actually below the long-term moving average, so it wouldn't have taken along at all on this session. It actually would have started to prepare for shorts on the other side. So the fact that we're kind of reversing is pretty promising for the long-term trend, or at least for the next week or so. But this chop here makes it pretty hard to trade.
Hovering over the weekly VWAP, which is my preferred VWAP. Like, that's what I also look at.
Yep, that's my pink line here.
Right.
We're also, I think this is probably worth pointing out, we had found ourselves in a choppy range like this yesterday in roughly the same price. So if I pull the regression trend out from yesterday, we are still effectively in that range, and it's still a very, very weak trend overall. It's no trend. The Pearson R score is 0.11 if you go all the way from this pivot point all the way to our current price. So I think we really need to see a breakout above 23,263 or below 23,000 overall to get a much stronger signal. But let's just see how the market wants to deal with our opening range here.
Right. It's funny. I tend to look at when I look less at price and when one VWAP crosses another VWAP. And so the current VWAP calculated from the futures open is still below. Actually, it will be easier if I show it. So to me, it's a yellow range today because our VWAP level is below yesterday's VWAP close. And until that happens, to me, it's all chopped. That's why it's yellow on my chart.
Yep.
And I can't really take trades for that, except
there's no question. This is pretty indecisive. There's no trend yet. And I tend to make my money on trend or mean reversion, but I need to see nice big moves that are consistent with the moving averages. When we straddle across moving averages like this, that's just chop city.
Right. But when the VWAP level here, the 23,170 crosses above the 23,183, the low end of the VWAP range, my signal will turn to green and give me a buy signal. And that would be, but that should coincide with a breakout of the stop level.
Got it.
So until I see that breakout, I'm like, And look at that. Tom spoke without invoking the dollar. Interesting.
So I had thought about maybe scalping there. We would have picked up a 15-point scalp already here. But again, I think I'm starting to get real uncomfortable with this session here. I don't like how high our ATR is. I don't want to get chopped out of a fairly large position. Tom, you want to pull your screen back up? The Aventura is curious about an indicator I think you had in the bottom right-hand corner. Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah, I did create this. These are all my indicators. I only use my indicators because then I know exactly what it's calculating. And so to me, it's neutral everywhere. I can't really determine the trend. But soon, if this VWAP crosses over here, it'll turn green on the daily, and then we could actually not even on the daily. Let's take a look at the daily. Yeah, neutral overall, like smack dab in the middle of two ranges. So whenever my chart says orange, I usually trade in the direction of whatever is the nearest unmitigated VWAP level. So that's why I still have a bullish bias for the NASDAQ, because we can still get to 23,253, we can still get to 23,550. All that can happen.
Wow, there it is. Okay, so we didn't hold that long. We should have held it. We've now breaking the orb, which we've revised twice today. It's very choppy. I'm still not comfortable holding a position for the remainder of the session, or at least trying to hold a trend, even though it feels pretty bullish. I just don't think we're there yet. But
if this doesn't break out, I feel like this is just a shitty morning.
Yeah, this is a tough trend. If we try to measure this too on the 1 minute chart, it's going to show a pretty weak Pearson's R. Yeah, 0.79. It's wide, it's high ATR, it's tough to get in and out of here. So because I've already taken such a big hit today, I'm going to try to wait for ATR to come down. I want to see if the signal improves, if the trend improves, and if there's a little bit clearer of an overall position to take. And then I'll probably scalp a couple of times. I should be able to win back a lot of these losses here for today, and maybe take just a small loss for the day overall. But I'm not going to do it unless the signal is very clear. The pattern needs to make sense. Not even these breakouts are making sense. You would expect that price would move a little bit quicker than this. It's not. It's kind of trying and then it fails. So
low volume summer. That's what we get. Oh, and the dollar is just about to hit a
where's the dollar
bounce level. Right now, like it's pulling back, but it's like right at this level. If the Dixie can get to, we're at 98.46 right now.
Yep.
And so this is where, and we're oversold. So the idea that it could bounce here, totally possible. Forex is weird like that, because you can have like geopolitical news and then just changes the game. Like Trump's tweets can move the dollar, which is crazy. And so I don't like seeing the dollar near a bounce zone, because that would be down for equities, down for Bitcoin.
Aventura just went long. I mean, it definitely looks better to the long side now.
Yeah, as it moves past that level, the 23,350.
Say again, Tom.
2350 it seems very likely that we get there. But I'm guessing. But shorting from 23,350, that's something I might do. But I love counter trend moves.
Interesting. I'm looking around at a couple other instruments, and I think this is one of those areas where I might switch to another, and oil starts to look like a pretty good short. I'm already kind of missing the move here. Interestingly, gold is starting to correlate pretty closely with NASDAQ.
Oh, that means the dollar is going to go down.
Okay, so there's the bullish move. Now we're out of the orb. Now I see the momentum. Starting to make a little more sense now. ATR is coming down a little bit. So I think for me, what I'm probably going to do is wait for a little bit of a pullback and then start to see if I can take that scalp. At this point, I need a quick move since I've already kind of messed up my entry for the day.
If you're going to look for a quick scalp, are you thinking about if you look for a pullback, I would expect it to hit 23.20 here, then pull back to like 23,272 and then run. But where are you expecting the pullback to occur? Oh no, you
expect a little bit larger of a pullback than that, just given the size of this regression trend. The range of this channel is obviously a little bit higher, and ATR is still a little bit higher. So if we do see a pullback, I would expect it to retest the orb breakout line, which would be roughly at 23,245.
23,245. Okay, that makes sense.
So if we come back and test that orb breakout line and it serves as support, then I do think I can easily pick up 15 points there on a long.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So my other automated strategy, the VWAP to close strategy, and when this candle closes, it's going to trigger an entry for long.
Actually, I think you should pick up 68 points.
Where do you think I should do it?
If you get that pullback.
Yeah.
I mean, I hesitate. Like going in now is where. No, you want to pull back to 23,245.
Yeah, if I pull it if I enter at 245, then I have 20 points of stop, which is right at the weekly VWAP. So I'm hoping that still serves as enough support and I don't get stopped out too early.
Right.
Well, let's just see where price goes. This could be one of those days where it just says, yeah, we're not coming back. We're just going to keep going up.
So I have this trend here. This I don't know if you guys can see it. It's one of these trend lines over here. And so the price has been respecting it like previously. It bounced off over here, broke down, bounced, broke down. And so where we are right now, we could totally get a pullback, but we could totally get a breakthrough. So yeah, you can't really get in here. The thing is, if you say that you need just 15 points of movement, and there's 32 points to get to 23,312, but then you're risking, you'd be risking 33 points. Okay, so it's not worth it.
Yeah, and here's the thinking behind that, Tom. These lines might be kind of hard to see on the chart here, but I'm looking at the long-term running average of ATR on NQ over the last 5,000 bars. So I'm trying to collect as much data as possible, and then I'm multiplying that ATR by 2. So what is 2x the ATR over the last 5,000 bars? The average there is 22.71. So roughly, we'll call it 20. That's where I base my stop on. I'm basing it on the average 2x ATR over the last 5,000 bars. And that helps me sort of determine the volatility of NASDAQ in a typical range. But then I use the current 2x ATR as sort of a guiding entry point. If ATR is too high or too far away from that moving average, then I know it's overly volatile compared to the running average. And I want to wait for that to come down before I get in so that there's a higher likelihood that I don't get stopped out.
I get it. Do you look for 5,000 bars because that's the limit and you would do more if you could?
Yeah, that is the limit. I had upgraded my account to Pro and they said that I have 10,000 available to me. But when I put in 10,000...
Error. So
now it's working. You know what? When I tested this before, it wasn't working. And now all of a sudden, I think it's... Oh, no, see, it comes back with a runtime error. It says the limit is 5,000.
So if instead of doing it with historical bars, you do it by saving all the bars in an array, you can get 100,000 bars back.
100,000?
Yes.
So I'd have to basically
recreate the chart in an array.
Scan backwards on the chart, exit and export all the data.
Well, you wouldn't scan backwards. It's that every bar that happens, I save each bar in my own array, which can have 100,000 values, and then just calculate the ATR off of those values as opposed to use the native function.
Look at that. We came back down to our support line for orb. Let's see if we can take this scalp then.
Ooh, go for it. 23,245 hit.
It's a little higher. Well, in here.
All right, mix in, guys. We're here. We're locked in. We're here for the ride. Let's get that move up to 23,312. Right, as long as it stays above 23,237, still good.
Okay, starting to go into my favor here. Pull up the accounts again. Back at entry.
Trevor, you ever see people do donation wars, like donation streams for Twitch streamers or YouTubers? For people,
I haven't watched. I've actually never watched an actual live Twitch stream before. What did they just do? Like a radiothon kind of thing, where it's like two people are trying to out donate each other.
Exactly, and then people will get into some sort of war, 500, 1,000, 10,000, whatever, and they're trying to give as much money to the streamer as possible. Oh no, price fell, 23,237.
Not good. Okay, so yeah, I'm really struggling here today. This is
It's
no
technically
bueno.
still bullish, though. That's the thing. It's just a chop. It's still bullish.
Yeah, I'm going to need, I think normally here, this is where I would just walk away. It is bullish. I had that signal up front, but we've continued to try to find trades and they're pulling against us. So I think I'm going to need to really call it here. I mean, we're well below, we're already beyond where I would consider this to be a daily loss limit. I don't have daily loss limits on these accounts, but I don't want to take any more of a loss here today. So there's really not much more risk. When it comes to prop accounts, and maybe this is worth discussing, you can certainly chase after trades all day long, but your performance is ultimately going to be based on how you manage your daily loss over time. So I really don't want to post huge losses for a single day. That's going to hurt me over the long run. And the trailing drawdown will hurt me as well. There's really no point in continuing to try to chase for the day. Just close out the day, come back and try again tomorrow, because there's most likely going to be a little bit better of a signal. You know, Chop City should be avoided overall, and yet we participated in what we already knew was chop. I did anyway.
We do it for the views.
Also says he got stopped out on his long. This is a tough opening to trade, and this is not a very clear signal. So I totally get it. Sorry to hear that, Aventura. I'm a little frustrated. This is definitely more of a loss than I typically take in a day. And we lost some of it due to timing slippage, and we were just wrong 3 times in a row. So I'm going to call it here. What do you guys think we should look at for tomorrow? Because I think there's one other thing that's kind of frustrating here, which is I'm sitting here looking at NASDAQ, and there was a little bit better of a trade forming on gold. This is a much stronger uptrend on gold, which I could have participated in. A lot of people have been talking about copper because of how far it pulled back. Everybody's kind of waiting for a bullish move here. I don't think it's going to happen for a while, but like there's a reason that it pulled back to this range and is starting to find support. It might price here for a while, but there is some potential to trade copper. But oil had a really good short this morning as well, which I missed. And that could have been a great trade. So I think one thing I want to prepare for is taking a look at some of these other markets.
Oil's at the low end of the range. Go ahead.
I was just asking about copper. It gapped up because of the tariff, but then why did it come back down? We go, just kidding, or it was just naturally traded back down?
That's just how pricing works in the futures market. It prices things down. It's the same thing with oil. People have counterintuitive viewpoints on pricing on oil. You know, supply and demand impacts the price of these things pretty greatly, and sometimes it moves in directions you don't expect.
Well, I got oil here right at the edge of the bottom of its range. And so this is where I'd be looking for a bounce up off of here. So,
yeah, oil's an interesting one, though. It's more of a range-bound instrument. It doesn't trend. I mean, it can over the short term, but if you look at oil over the very long run, especially on the weekly chart, or daily chart here, you can see that we basically have to price oil between $55 a barrel and $75 a barrel. And it bounces around inside that range, which makes it more of a stationary instrument rather than a trending instrument. So what you'd be looking for here is mainly mean reversion. You'd want to go long until we get back to the average, and then go short until we get back to the average. And you can kind of see most of the plays here in oil are going long or short when it hits those extremes. You know, shorting from 75, shorting from 75, go long from 55, go long from 55. It's tough because it can chop in and out of those ranges pretty significantly. So your stop has to be pretty tight. And if it is, you most likely will suffer even more drawdown if you were to hold it a little bit longer. In the past, oil appears to have been a trend following instrument, but it really wasn't. This was the impact of COVID in 2020 that pushed oil so far down that it actually went into negative territory. You could actually be paid to buy oil at this
we couldn't
point.
give it away.
But otherwise, if you look in the very long run, you can see here that oil tends to range in a very clear boundary of price. So it makes it a much more interesting instrument to trade, but only when it hits those extremes. I'm interested in trading it when it gets farther away from the moving average. You can do sort of short-term plays. Like this is a great little short. You can pick up some points here, but I think there's even more of a strong signal once you see it up here between 70 and 75. So if it does trend up from here, I'm gonna look to set some alerts and pay attention when it gets up there.
That's why for oil, when you're dealing with, if you're anticipating a trend change, that's where the options market is a great place in order to express that bet.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you get great implied volatility discounts on that. And then if you have some sort of anticipation for an event, tariff information, OPEC's release build, monthly bills or whatever, that's where you can trade like the mean reversion. So you get some extreme move in one direction, and then you can go the other way. So, for example, when there was the bombing in Iran and oil shot up, like that to me is such an obvious short because they don't want oil to be outside of their ranges. Like they're not, OPEC isn't happy if all of a sudden they sit there and our oil is at $110 per barrel. Like everyone wants that oil to be within a certain range.
Right.
So it's a totally different asset to trade, like feeling to trade.
I completely agree. All right. Well, it looks like NASDAQ came up and retested session VWAP again. I still don't think there's much of a trade here. It's still really noisy.
Yeah. We're not. I mean, I personally would risk it, but
you'd go long here.
I would go long. Yeah.
Oof.
I would go along with like one small contract long.
Even this breakdown here would have me immediately worried. This is already looking like
a formation. I would go long with one small contract. What is that? Are there diet contracts I need to know about?
Let me trade the Nano Mini then. I want 1/100th of a.
I wish. That's one of the reasons I wish that we did Forex at some point, just so I could like do a half of an MMQ or something, and just like I'm just gonna long and walk away for a week, and I'll probably be fine.
I'll probably be fine.
Yeah, it's the pullbacks that I. Like when I see the big red like that, that's where I want to jump in to I
have the same issue, and I need to.
And normally I'm with you.
You have a problem.
This being Chop City, Tom, this is tough.
Well, it just from my point of view, the chop was like expected, like that we should have gotten only at the VWAP levels down here, but you were taking a look at the session VWAPs. Mm-hmm. But for me, these would have been the perfect entries to get the bounces up, and we've been climbing in the session. So like I would risk the long even all the way down to 23,182 entry, and then look for the pullback. Because once this chop does break, right, sideways movements are corrections in price, and it's building to something, and it's going to build to either a move up or down, and I like to be in there for that. And so to me, when I see this here in the NASDAQ, that it's fallen right back into that meaty zone where we've got all these buys, mm-hmm. I feel compelled to take a long. But then I'm fine with losing after position. Like I don't feel bad in that way.
Gotcha.
So here, if it got to 23,183, that to me would be perfect time to launch it.
Aventura asks if we work with Oanda on Forex. Not yet. We are exploring that as being one of our first Forex offerings, however.
In this day, jeez.
Tom is a gambler. This is a fact.
Tom, is it more satisfying? And I don't know the answer to this question. That's why I'm asking it. Is it more satisfying to long on a red candle and have it go and wick up and you're like, ooh, I got it? Or more satisfying to long on a green candle when it breaks out?
No,
I think there's some weird like mental issue that both of us have it's like showed you, I proved you wrong. Like I bought on a red candle and I went, oh, look at this. I mean, this is just ridiculous, honestly. If you would have just held your short,
if I look at that,
down
and to me, I
$4
go,
grand, it would have paid off.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I'm trying to find the difference here with Mike, because you guys want smaller moves throughout the day. And a small move like this, a 15 point move, to you guys are like, okay, fantastic. Well, I'm looking for a 75 basis point move. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's on the scalp trade. Remember, I have two different styles. I want to trend follow, and then I do scalps occasionally if there's a clear like breakdown of price and a continuation. I'll pick up 15 points on one NQ contract there, or sometimes more contracts on the higher accounts. I think on the 150K accounts, I actually trade 3 NQs for 15 points. So it's a great trade. But the longer term trade, I'm looking for 150 to 200 points.
I understand. Okay.
So I went ahead and opened a short. I'm going to try one more here, guys.
A short.
I'm not gonna watch.
Well, it's below VWAP, so let's go for it.
We're going for the rules. The trend down is pretty strong, obviously, from the top here. We could have participated in more of that move, but I usually use VWAP as my guiding principle. We've come up slightly and retested just a little bit, but it hasn't moved up much. So if I were to add to this trade, it would be at the top of this regression trend, right below VWAP. We'll keep an eye on it and see how this goes.
Looking good so far. All my indicators just turned red. So remember I was saying here that I'm looking for my VWAP level to cross into the yellow, and right there is where it turned over and pulled back down. Like, it's all right. Doesn't want to turn bullish. Wants to stay bearish. Guys, pull back to the 1 month VWAP.
Okay, so we basically just crossed over all of the moving averages again on the 5-minute chart. We're now, it almost looks like it almost touched R1, but basically on the 2-hour chart, it just barely wicked on some of these anchored VWAPs that we've had. We're back in this what was support zone, and I want to see if it comes back down into this range here, which is 23,114. So there's not a huge move here. I'd like to see it a little bit farther.
Oh, 23,114? Yes, I have 23,117 now as the low end.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Totally.
But if we can break down on this range, then I can pick up a quick trade. We'll see if we can claim back some of this loss for the day.
Ventura Trader says, do it. I love it. All right. See this feeling you guys have now? It's the feeling of hope. It's what it is to be human.
My feelings right now are really more frustration than anything. I get really frustrated in choppy zones. Right. And then I want to rage quit.
But you're married, so you know how to deal with this feeling. It's fine. All right. Oh, choppiness.
Okay, I like that it's below the electronic VWAP as well. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing a higher high. We're basically at break even still. This is fairly well risk managed so far. If we do take a small loss, it would be right at VWAP here. So, I'm only risking about 15 points on 6 contracts. So not a huge risk. It's going to eat into my overall loss for the day. I might even get triggered. I think I do have a few accounts that have daily loss limits, so I'm a little worried about that. But obviously those will get shut down and I won't be able to send trades to them. In fact, let me double check to see how many of these came through. Okay, all 37 were traded. All right, so it's coming back up to retest VWAP. The downtrend is still really strong.
And all my indicators turned yellow.
I think I still feel good averaging into this position and adding to it.
Oh, really?
So now I'm here. I do. We're on the other end of this trend, and we're still below VWAP. That said, I'm ready to get out of this again at a loss, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to look at myself in the mirror and cry myself to sleep tonight.
That's
I mean,
the prop thing. It's just like you take your payout, and obviously no one's trying to blow any accounts, but like that's the unlimited upside, limited downside sort of thing. It's just like you could be in a live account, make $3,000, the next day lose 6, and you're just like, well, what the hell am I doing with my life? But you take out $3,000 and lose 6 and blow the accounts, and you're just like, well, I got to start over. But you're still up, $2,500.
Correct.
That's a very good way of thinking about it.
The mitigated risk part is the biggest part for me. It's there are some times where trading like this, trading in a drawdown for the day as well, has led me to some pretty bad moves, bad decisions for the day in a live account, and I'll lose a lot more than the cost of these accounts. I think worst day for me so far in a live account is somewhere around, I think I've tried to forget about it, but it's somewhere around 8,000 or 9,000 for a day.
Right. That's right. And on options where I would like to fool myself into thinking I'm just losing the premium, I'll do that option trade again and again and again and still lose a ton of money. So this is like really a downside. Like you cannot trade the account, the prop firm account, after it's been closed.
Oh, guys, this is a tough session.
Yeah.
Look at that candle on the 2-hour chart.
Yikes.
1 hour.
It's non-existent. It's so thin.
All right. So you're stopped out here?
I'm about to. We're going to watch VWAP here in the next 23 seconds. And unfortunately, this is about the worst loss day that I've had on our live stream since we started doing it.
Well, one of these streams that had to happen.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. And you got to work hard to recover from this. But, look, if today ends up being a really bad loser day, we show up to the market tomorrow, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and we look at the new opportunity and we try not to think about the loss from the previous day because it has no bearing on the next opportunity.
Right. And if you just tell yourself, I'm definitely going to do worse tomorrow, then you already know today is not your worst day ever. So that's about it.
Thanks, Tom.
This. Oh God, all these other assets. I keep looking at them and it's just like full on chop everywhere. Every single asset.
I mean, gold is still looking great. This was a much better trade today. You're short in copper. Oil's a good short. It's the NASDAQ that's really messing with me today. And it happens to be my favorite instrument.
Which I find to be so crazy.
There it is. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, so we finally rejected off of the session VWAP. Our downtrend is still pretty strong. It's weakening a little bit just because of that little pullback there. But we're still at 0.90. I still feel pretty good about the trade. We're at break even right now because I averaged into that second leg.
Oh my God, just switched it. What is going on? It's like edging this green.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Yeah. To me, it's back to bullish.
I can't disagree with you, but the problem is it's just
But it's like the edge of bullish.
It's the edge of it's an indecisive candle. Let's call it what it is. We're going both directions here. And the size of this down move is now equal to the size of the up move for the day. So if we're going to break down, it really needs to break out of this orb.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate you so much.
Look at that.
So, higher low.
Well, you guys are going to see me take a pretty big beating today.
I have yet to see anyone lose as much as I have, so I know you will come out of it.
I don't think you're a real trader unless you've lost a significant sum of money relative to your income. Yep. It's part of earning our stripes. We have to go through it.
Education, tuition.
You know what I'm really bummed about is that ate a big portion of my available drawdown. I don't even really think about the total loss. What I care more about is my distance to drawdown. That distance to drawdown number is basically the size of my account. If I get too far down on that, you have very little to work with anymore. Right. It's like trying to trade a futures account with $900. Good luck.
Yeah. It just feels like a win here is not even really a win. Like, just get out of the trade.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. I can't even. I don't know what to say. This has been tough, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, sorry. Totally understand it.
Well, we're back up above VWAP now. We're testing the weekly VWAP and my anchored VWAP. It's technically outside of my range. The downtrend has now weakened. I'm going to have to get out of this position and take a huge loss for the day.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah, you got to do it. There's just no clear direction.
There's no clear direction, and I can't make money on Chop. Bummer.
That's just about to switch to bullish.
What a terrible day.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
Wow.
That's nonsense. All right, let me do some math here. What are we working with?
This is what I mean when I said I would take the long from that red candle down.
You were wrong. Yeah, I was with you. This is my dilemma, though. You know, I really try to stay consistent with my approach. And when the market is inconsistent and I am consistent, I'm going to consistently lose.
Right. Oh, put that on the t-shirt.
What a day. That sucked.
Well, I don't know.
Right? What do we say?
We all have jobs. We all have jobs.
Man.
And it's going to reject down. If this rejects down,
that's right.
We have to go streaking. Like, this is just ridiculous.
That just really killed me today.
Yeah.
Man, I have 4 Apex funded accounts, of which I just lost 70% of my drawdown from. And then many of my other Apex accounts are still between 35 and 70% of the way to goal. So I still have plenty of accounts to work with. You know, part of the goal here was to keep all of the accounts. I don't really want to lose any accounts. I still have some room to work with on those Apex accounts that you see there. What I'll probably do is call it for today. We'll show up tomorrow. We'll start with the same size, same attitude, and hope for a little bit stronger of a signal. And I'll just have to work my way back now. But that was a big hit, unfortunately.
What were the What were your total expenses before the payout?
I need to do the math on that.
I mean, you're positive.
I haven't been keeping track of it very well, so I went back into all my accounts and have been like putting it all in a spreadsheet. But I will do a tweet about it all, especially as the funds actually drop. I still haven't gotten a payout in the bank yet. I'm going through the process with Tradify right now. I had to open a Rise Pay account, and it got a little complicated because I have an LLC. I want to get that paid through. And the verification process took like 3 days through Rise. So I just got a message back from Tradify while we were on the stream here. And they said, they didn't say anything. Let's go check Rise Pay. It's funny. They just resolved the ticket without responding to me. Okay, there it is. So they did take their cut, and I do have a balance in Rise Pay. So now I can actually withdraw from Rise Pay. And I'll have to go through the banking process to get my account verified there, and then I can get it out. But I'll tell you this much, it was more than my first payout of $2,700. I know I've spent more than that.
That's fine.
So we're still in a hole from an investment perspective, but we'll make that money back.
Yeah, but you've learned so much.
Plus, you know that it shows up on the other end. Like, that's the whole concern. You're like, okay, does it actually show up on the other end? And
yeah. I want to see the money get to the bank, obviously. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Aventura. I appreciate the support, man. I know it happens to all of us. I think for me, this was just a bad sequence of events. You know, what's funny is I've been on such a streak that I had imagined this morning, like, one of these days, I better be careful. It's like, try not to get too much of an ego over this, because I might get hit pretty hard. That was today. That was the day. So I got hit pretty hard, but I'll get back on tomorrow. We'll see how we do.
That's right.
This is really annoying. And the worst part of it is, normally if I've identified that we're in a choppy open, I try to focus just on the scalp trades and I wait for the reversals. But I've been focused on the trend, and so I'm just taking the wrong trades today. Anyway, we'll show up tomorrow. We'll see how we do. Anything else you guys want to look at?
No, that's good for me. I've just been painfully looking at my Bitcoin, which has just been sideways the entire time. Literally nothing. It's just been wicks the whole way through. So just super, super painful here. This is me over here, and just sideways. And I need this to break one way or another, preferably up, but nothing's happening yet. So I decided not to take the trades today, and my account for proper account resets tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be trading Bitcoin futures with you guys.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right, let's try it again tomorrow. We'll trade a couple of other instruments. I might also have I'll have my line set up for oil as well as, well, maybe not oil. I'll take a look at gold tomorrow. Maybe copper, because copper has been pretty interesting. Obviously, price action and liquidity started to show up there. Volume starting to increase overall. After that big sell-off on copper, there was some continuation of volume here, which makes it a little more interesting. Typically, I like to stick with the highly liquid instruments, and copper has a little more attention at the moment. So I might take a look at that. A lot of the firms do support copper as an instrument.
Awesome. And if you guys want to know if you enjoyed this and you want to get this feeling of the highs and the lows in your daily life, go try stand-up comedy, because it feels exactly like this. It feels exactly like this every single time. All right. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, we wish you, as always,